What's up, Disc Golf fam? Matt Jones back at the Mission Park in Hammond, Louisiana for the back nine of a casual round. I'm with my friends John and Joe. John is 4 down through 9. I'm 3 down through 9. And Joe is 2 down through 9. So let's see what the back nine has in store for us. Hole number 10 is a par 3. It is 278 feet, and it's number one's basket from a different location. And this one brings in the sidearm shots more. There's a tree to the right that kind of keeps the backhand from throwing out wide. That or a turnover shot. That was John's shot that nestled up by the basket. Joe's going to throw a turnover shot here, and that shot also ends up in the circle. And this next shot is a turnover shot from John, who was just playing. He just picked up a disc out of Joe's bag and hits the cage with it. Almost aced it. I'm going to throw my forehand shot here and also land in the circle. So we're all in prime position to get the birdie on this hole. Joe starting us off with a putt for his birdie. I'll follow suit with a birdie, and John just drops his in. So that gets us to John 5 down, Joe 3 down, and I'm 4 down. All right, hole number 11. It's a par 3, 230 feet, and it's up there to the left this time. And so a hyzer shot out to a hidden basket will get you right there. I think I'm inside the circle. John throws his disc out to the right. He's going to have a long putt for it. And Joe is going to follow suit. His disc gets hung out to the right as well. So that'll be a long putt from there. All right, as we approach the putting green, John has got a little bit of a tree limb in the way here. But he's going to give this a run nonetheless. And here it comes. Almost made it off the tree limb. That would have been fantastic. Joe's going to set up for his putt. Go through his routine. Again, if you're a beginner disc golf, pick a routine. Pick something that you can repeat when you're putting. Just like shooting a free throw in basketball, it's going to help you concentrate and focus. Joe misses that one to the left. And I will tap in for a birdie. And these guys will tap out as well. I think Joe had a little bit of a comeback putt, but nothing too weighty of concern. So that brings me and John tied at 5 down and Joe at 3 down. Now, hole number 12 is par 3, 223 feet with a double mando. And so I make it right through the mando, but get it hung up in a couple of trees right there. So I'm still 60 or 80 feet out. John missed the mando. If you just saw that disc flew from left to right, and he went right of the mando. Now, Joe is just concerned about getting the mando. He doesn't even throw it full power. Of course, he gets further than I do, but he was really concerned about getting through the mando. John here is laying 2, so he's throwing his third shot. The way you play this hole is there's no drop zone for the mando. You just play it as it lies, but you take a penalty for missing the mando. And I'm in trouble, but threw a pretty decent shot from behind the tree and got up there close. Joe's got a lengthy putt for birdie from outside the circle. I don't think he likes to do the jump putt or a step putt, and so he put some power behind that one, almost rung it up. And John's now going to tap in his putt for a bogey. He's going to give one back to the course. That puts him at 4 down, Joe at 3 down, and myself at 5 down going into the next hole, which is hole number 13. It's par 4, 393 feet. It's a double mando, and I split the gap with a nuke there and got around the corner. And then Joe throws his. He gets hung up in a tree, but it gets redirected right into the center of the mando trees. So he'll be throwing from there, which is technically the drop zone if you miss it, but he won't have to take a penalty because he didn't go through it. Now, John does something a little different here. John throws a forehand, which I'd never seen done on this hole, and that gets him far out there to the right, but he's got an open shot to it. So if you're playing this course, that is a good place to be. Here's Joe inside the the Mando trees, and he's going to give it a rip. And unfortunately, he catches another tree, so he'll be laying 2 there. John, way out there in the field, but has a direct path to the basket and gives it looks like a full power throw, maybe with a putter or mid-range, and he parked it. I'm 150 feet or so out, and I throw it out to the right, and disc doesn't come back like I thought it would, so I'm going to have a long putt from there. Joe's up next, and he's got a blind shot from here. Joe found himself scrambling a lot this day, but he scrambled so well that he was able to stay right in there with us. Had he not done that, he might have been over par, but his scramble was fantastic, and he parks that one right next to the basket. Here I am from probably about 29 or 30, maybe a little past 30, focused on trying to make this putt and catch left chains a little high, and the basket treats me well. So that puts John at 5 down. I got a birdie on that one. 6 down, and Joe is 3 down. Hole 14, par 3, 285 feet. I throw a spike hyzer type shot, trying to go around these trees, and I land down there not too far. I'm outside the circle, but the route is to throw into these trees and just hope you get through them. There's some gaps there, but they are not very friendly. There's not much of a forehand shot around them. So Joe threw his. John throws a nice shot, and I think he's in there close. So you can see my disc tombstone there into the ground, and I'm putting from outside the circle. Gave it a good run, hit the front of the cage. That's one I'd like to have back. Joe is in trouble. I forgot he went out into the woods, so you just seen his disc kind of pop out of the woods there. That was not, and then he throws a second one, which would have been better, but he got hung up in some trees there. And John is putting from those trees as well, but he's just inside the circle and runs it off the top one. Makes the second one, but unfortunately, you got to make the first one. So we all tap out here. Actually, Joe has a little work left. This hole's a little tricky. That a lot of blind shots at this course. As I'm watching back through it, I'm reminded that these shots are not super easy. So that puts John at 5 down, Joe at 3 down, and myself at 6 down. Moving into hole number 15. It's a par 3, 278 feet. And there's a lot of open space to the right, which I go for, but end up hitting into the tree. Kind of glad I hit that tree, or else I would have been in the woods to the left over there. John also throws his disc. He gets a little high. He gets around the tree, right in front of the tree, and he lands really close to where my disc is. Joe gets hung up in the tree, and you can see his disc right there kind of falls back towards him. So he's going to have a long upshot, and unfortunately that was it, just there to the right of the screen, and it's going to fall short. I think he throws another one, but that was his second shot. And John here gives it a good run, just to the right of the basket, and I'm going to jump putt out of the woods as well. Out of the edge of the woods, rather. So that leaves Joe out for a long putt, probably about 40 or 45 feet. Going through his routine, focused, concentrating. And let's see if he can make it. Bang, right in the chains. Great par save from Joe. John's going to clean up here. I'm going to clean up as well, and that puts John at 5 under, Joe at 3 under, myself at 6 under. Moving into hole number 16, which is a par 3, 288 feet. I just threw a nuke there, and it looked like it had a chance of going in, but it ended up hitting behind the basket. There's John, excited. He was excited, and so he's going to throw a forehand as well, and he's going to get hung up in this tree. And it was actually a good tree. I landed him in a place where he would have a putt at it. Joe throws a truth and puts a really good move on it and ends up down there inside the circle. So John is outside the circle. He's probably 55 feet or so, and he's got limbs in the way. He's really got to throw kind of a hyzer putt to the right to try to curve it in there. And bang, he was excited about that one. What a great putt. I'm just outside the circle, or maybe edge of circle, and I knew it rolled past the basket, not quite that far, and I didn't even really give it a chance. Joe is putting for his birdie, and John kind of big putted both of us, and then I threw my putt that wasn't even close, like I said. And sometimes bad putt begets bad putt. That puts us at 6 under for John and myself, and Joe at 3 under, moving to hole number 17. Double Mando, par 3, 242 feet. And there is John's disc going to the right of the Mando. Right after a great birdie, misses the Mando. That's a buzz for me, and it slides right under the basket for a drop-in birdie. And sometimes those beget good shots, and Joe parks it as well. We both have a drop in. But John has a tester. He's putting from that drop zone, which is somewhere between 40 and 50 feet. And if anybody can make it, John can. He's really good at these step putts. And so he gives it a run, goes a little high, and we tap in for our birdies. And John's going to clean up his par. And so that puts John down to 5 under. I moved to 7 under, and Joe is at 4 under. Moving into hole number 18, which is a par 3, 284 feet. I hang my shot out to the right, thinking it'll trickle down, but I'm a little short. I think I threw an onyx there. So next up, Joe is going to throw his shot. I think he lets a hyzer go, and it flips up a little bit for him and pushes a little further straight. So I'll leave him a outside circle putt as well. And then John is going for the ace here. I think he throws the right disc, but there's a headwind here, and it's pushing our disc straight. And so he gives it a real good rip and pushes a little long of the basket, almost into an OB ditch. But he's not. He's got quite a long circle 2 putt, and he gives it a run, but misses it low and to the right. Joe's going to give his circle 2 putt a shot. And he had the right line, but goes right over the basket. I've got a circle's edge putt, maybe a little further out, and actually go a little longer than I wanted to. Made myself have a nervous putt on the way back, but was able to get it in for a par. Joe and I both left ourselves kind of longer putts than we'd like, and I think Joe's putt's going to come in here in just a second. Yeah, and he touches change but misses to the right. So that's going to give him a bogey on this hole, which puts him at 3 down, John at 5 down, and I finish at 7 down. And that's Mission Park out in Hammond, Louisiana. It was a fun round. We had a good time. Hope to play it again soon, and hopefully we'll get some more content on here for you soon. Some more rounds similar to this, maybe some 9-hole rounds at some different courses in the area. But again, thanks for watching Jones by Design Disc Golf, and we want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that like button and notification button so you can be notified when new videos are up. Thanks again, and God bless.